So in part 3, we're going to learn some formulas that are going to help us apply things about exponential functions to actual real life situations. So these formulas are going to be talking about exponential growth and decay. And so the first one is talking about like population. So in this case, my n is going to be talking about the final amount of, say, people. My n sub 0 is talking about the original or the initial amount of people. T is talking about the number of time periods. So for example, there's going to be a question that talks about mitosis occurs every 15 minutes. So how many things could happen in an hour? Well, that's 4 time periods. And so that's what that means by time periods. R is your rate of growth or decay. And so if R is greater than 0, then we're talking about things that are growing. And if R is less than 0, then we're talking about things that are dying or decaying. So if we take a look at one of the questions from the book, it's talking about beekeeping. And so it says, suppose that the researcher estimates that the initial population of a colony of bees is 500. They're increasing at a rate of 14% per week. So it says, what is the expected population in 22 weeks? So you'll see the initial amount of bees was 500. The rate of increase was 0.14 because that's 14% as a decimal. And the number of time periods, meaning the number of weeks in this case, is 22. And so once we have that all plugged in, you just plug it into your calculator. Now, I wouldn't say 8,930.5 bees because there's no such thing as half of a bee. And so we would round it up and say 8,931 Varroa bees in the colony after 22 weeks. All right, so this question is going to seem a little weird because it's going to say projected population for 2010, which some of you were like 7 or 8 years old back then. But remember that this book was written much earlier than this time, and so that's why the question does say that. So it says an area in North Carolina known as the Triangle is principally composed of the cities of Durham, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill. So the Triangle had a population of 700,000 people in 1990. So we're going to say my original population amount is 700,000. And then my year was in 1990. So I'm going to hold on to that for a moment. Then it says the average yearly rate. So that is my time period, which is 1 year. Average yearly rate of growth. So that means that my R value is greater than 0. Is 0.59. So my R value is positive 0.059. So I'm sorry, this was 5.9%. So if I move my decimal to the left 2 places, we get 0.059. And it says find the projected population for 2010. So we're going to pretend it hasn't been 2010 yet. So notice if I subtract 1990 from that, that means that we're talking about 20 years. So my time is 20 years. So we're going to say the new amount is the original amount times 1 plus R all to the T. And so that means we get 700,000 times 1 plus 0.059 all to the 20th power. So if I plug that into my calculator, I've got 700,000, so be real careful with that, times parentheses, 1 plus 0.059, close it, and then to the power of 20. And so we would say the new population amount, I've got 22,030,13.9, so I'd say 14, and so that means I would have 2,203,014 people. So the next one is called compound interest. So this is saying that my A is my final amount, P is my principal or my initial amount, R is going to be my annual rate of interest as a decimal, N is going to be the number of times per year that the interest is compounded. And then T stands for time in years. So it's important that that's in years. Now, this formula is near and dear to my heart because I know you guys always think, well, when am I ever going to use this in real life? So here is a real life situation. Don't judge me. So when I was, I want to say 16 or 17, I crashed my mother's car and it was totaled. And so I needed to buy a new car. And now this is back in like 1988-ish. So understand car prices have gone way up since then. So my dad said, I will loan you $2,000 to buy a new car, not a new car, but to find a used car. And I need you to pay me back as if the money never left my bank. So I want 4% interest compounded quarterly. So I literally had to open up my math analysis book because I was taking pre-calculus at the time. I had to find this formula and determine, did I want to pay him over 2 years or did I want to pay him over 3 years at 4% compounded quarterly? So this is a formula that you can use in real life. So this is an example from the book. So they said determine the amount of money in a money market account, providing an annual rate of 5%. So that's 0.05 as a decimal, compounded daily. So then the question is, how many times a year is that? And so that's 365 times a year. If Marcus invests $2,000, so that's my principal, and he left it in the account for 7 years. So again, the principal was 2,000. The rate as a decimal is 0.05. The number of times per year that it's compounded is 365, and the time in years is 7. Okay, so coming over here, they plugged in 2,000 for P, 0.05 for R, 365 for N in both places, and 7 for T. And so they rounded to the nearest penny because we're talking about money. And notice they didn't go all the way to 0.07 because they didn't earn 7 cents. They only earned 6 cents and a little bit more. So they got $2,838.06 would be how much they get back. So notice they earned $838.06 from in interest. All right, so in question number 6, it says determine the amount of money in the savings account that provides an annual rate of 4% compounded monthly. And it says if the initial investment is for $1,000 and the money is left in the account for a total of 5 years. So pause the video and see if you can figure this one out. So we're going to say A is equal to the principal times 1 plus R over N to the power of NT, and you're probably going to want to put parentheses around that. So my principal investment is $1,000. My rate as a decimal is 0.04. My number of times per year, so monthly is going to tell me 12 times per year. And then my time is going to be for 5 years. So notice it's saying how many times per year. That's what the number of times we're compounding it in that year. So my new amount is going to be the principal of $1,000 times 1 plus my rate of 0.04 over 5 to the power of 5 times 5 because, sorry, let me say that again. So the number of times per year is 12. Number of times per year is 12 times 5 years. Sorry for that. So then in the calculator, we're going to type in, let's see if I can catch that. We got 1,000. We're going to type it just like we see it, times parentheses, 1 plus 0.04 divided by 12, close the parentheses, to the power of parentheses 12 times 5, and that gives us 1,220.996. So you can either say $1,220.99, or if you round it up to 1221.00, I'm not going to be mad about that. All right, and so we've got one more example. So it says how much money must be invested by Mr. Kaufman if he wants to have $20,000 in his account after 15 years and he earns 15 compounded quarterly. So take a moment to substitute that and notice it's saying how much must be invested. So we're looking for P. So go ahead and solve for P here. So we want the new amount to be 20,000. We want the time to be 15 years, and we want the rate to be 5%, so 0.05 compounded quarterly. So quarterly means every quarter, and that means that the number of times we would do it is 4 times a year. So let me see if I can remember. So if we have yearly, my N value would be 1. If we have semi-annually, then my N value is equal to 2. If we have quarterly, then my N value is 4, so it's 4 times a year. If we have monthly, then my N value is 12. If we have weekly, then my N value is 52. And if we have daily, we're going to assume that my N value is equal to 365. We're not going to worry about leap years. So if I plug this in, I've got 20,000 is equal to my principal times 1 plus 0.05, my rate, divided by 4 to the power of 4 times 15. So I'm going to hold on to rounding yet. So this is going to be 20,000 is equal to the principal times. And so if I figure out what's inside, I've got 1 plus 0.05 divided by 4 gives me exactly 1.0125. And then my power is 4 times 15, which is 60. And I don't want to round that just yet. So if I divide both sides by that amount, these cancel. And so then if I do 20,000 divided by 1.0125 to the power of 60, I get that my initial amount needs to be $9,491.35. So that's how much you would need to invest and leave in the bank for 15 years, compounded quarterly at 5%.